Good morning from Tallahassee. I am on my phone. That seemed to work out so well last week instead of uh, using my iPad with all the interesting things that can happen with that. Oh my goodness. But seems to be working out well, and I am making friends with technology more and more. I'm so happy about that, to make friends with technology more and more. So there we go. All right. So here we are at this beautiful Sunday. Hey Pamela, good morning. Let me get you down. That's so good. I'm glad you're here. That's so great. I am watching Teddy and Austin today, so in case you hear some barking in the background, that's the boys. The front door is open, so they may be at the door checking it all out. So just in case, that's what's happening. Hey Leslie, thank you so much for being here. Let me get you down. Okay, Leslie, I hope you got the text that I sent you about the change in uh, Tarot Flow being this coming Saturday instead of this past Saturday. Yeah, well, this Teddy is actually a dog. The Teddy that I'm watching. He's not my little human Teddy. What was interesting is that I did have Teddy and Austin here over Easter when Teddy came to visit. So when I introduced my little Teddy to Teddy the dog, he had this look on his face. It was like, oh, what is this? Okay. And then he said, then he said, I'm Teddy, that's myself. Wendy, I just had to tell, good morning. I just had to tell the Teddy story about Teddy the dog because I have Teddy and Austin here today. So and in fact, Austin is over here, down here on the floor with me during this. So, and then on the window side, the baby birds, the two baby birds are just growing like crazy. The parents are amazing. I didn't realize what wonderful parents cardinals are. Both the mommy and the daddy are just out there. So, oh, thank you, Leslie. Thank you. Yeah, different Teddy. Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate that. Leslie's comments about because my 95-year-old aunt in South Florida passed away this week. And we were kind of like up in the air on what was going to happen, whether there'd be a service in South Florida and I'd be coming down or not. And the family that's caring for her honored her wishes, which was to go directly to New Hampshire to be buried next to her husband of 73 years. And so that's what they're doing. And then we'll have a funeral mass later this summer. Yes, the Cardinals are amazing. And I didn't realize that they made it for life because I had to look that up too. But the both of them, and that really brought to mind watching these Cardinals with the mom and the dad both being so nurturing and loving, that here we have Father's Day next weekend. So that really made it even more important to talk about that in the not necessarily the roles or the gender, but the energy of what that means to be a mom or a dad. But for until we get to the reading, for now, the sun is in Gemini, and we are connecting and communicating in a new way. Now, I don't really have to tell you that because you already know that. We are connecting and communicating in a new way. And on the 10th, we had that new moon solar eclipse in Gemini. And that even allowed the energies to unfold. And it's going to continue to unfold. We're going to be learning new and better ways. What was old is new again, but new in a different way. And so that makes it even more exciting that that is happening. So Mercury's still retrograde until June 22nd. And it's amazing the things that are happening. And actually everything is an opportunity. Yesterday, part of my Mercury retrograde and the fact that the sun is squaring Neptune in my 8th house of other money and that type of thing, I got a fraudulent call from my bank that my credit card was compromised once again, and to the tune of over $3,000 in hotel charges in Atlanta. Now, 2 charges already went through, but I have to share this with you because I was really surprised about this, to the level of how this goes. the initial charges were keyed in. That means that they just had the number and then they, keyed in the number. But the last one that was denied, the credit card was in hand. They actually had a credit card in my name. And of course, it showed up right away, I guess, that it was not correct. And so they denied it, and that's when the bank called me. But I am so very thankful that I have that wonderful monitoring with my credit card at my bank. But this was an amazing thing to find out that it's not just about using the number, it's about the fact that the credit card is actually made and brought in. So when I spoke to the fraudulent expert, hey Agnes, so good to see you. When I spoke to them at the bank, they said they actually have a camera on the desk and they have a picture of this person because it was amazing. So good old Mercury retrograde and all those other things that are happening, but I have to look at the opportunity and the blessing that I wasn't paying all of that. So that was a good thing. So again, the moon is in Cancer today, and that makes this day so loving and family and home and nurturing and caring. And at 2:22, and I love the fact that it's 2:22, the sun moves into Leo, and that changes all the energy. And the fact that the moon moves into Leo, not the sun, not yet. The moon moves into Leo and meets up with Mars. And it will stay with Mars for the rest of the day. So that changes that whole energy and makes it so exciting. So it's through the evening that fire and that the passion and the idea of possibilities. I feel like there's a lot of planning going on, a lot of ideas just blossoming out there. So this really is offering a good opportunity, besides the fact that the Gemini sun squares Neptune, and that's new revelations, new ideas, new inspirations. So think about that. Sit back, take some time, and talk to those people that are around you and do some of that planning. So it'll be really, really exciting. Now, today I'm doing, with the three people, Pamela, Leslie, and Wendy Vargas, when we do our card reading today, I have been collaborating almost on a weekly basis with Kat Medrano, who is a WPN member here and a friend. And we just decided, just like, it was almost inspirational, just like Angie and I doing Tarot Flow. Kat and I haven't come to any like idea of what we're going to do with it, but it's just that exchange of energy and ideas. And it's offered me the opportunity to look again at some of the other card decks that I have, because I do have some oracle decks along with tarot decks. So what I took out, and we'll do the single card readings after we do the Father's Day reading, what I got was the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. Now, I love Colette Baron Reid, but this is the Spirit Animal Oracle deck, and it's probably backwards because of this, but this is how it looks. And it comes in this really cool box with this magnetic clasp and whatever. So again, we'll be using that card deck at the end. And I loved the tarot deck that I used last week, and Kat had introduced me to that one. And so this is just another animal one. And I guess I've got my cardinals outside. I've got Austin and Teddy here. So I guess I'm in this animal mode, inspiration, whatever it happens to be. But let's get into this reading. This is really, just as the Mother's Day reading was very important to me, this one is too. And no matter what relationship we have it currently or had with our fathers, they had an influence on us. Now, in this day and age, families look so different. They are not our standard look-alike families. You know, they're just look different, and it's wonderful that no one has to be like everybody else. There is a male energy, a father energy, and it's not about gender. Yes, she is great. I know. I love her, Leslie. She really is. We've had so much fun together. So this energy, this father energy, is part of the relationship. It affected you. It had an impact on you, just as your mother's energy. No matter the gender, it's the energy of mother, the energy of father. It's not a gender factor, it's how that affects you. Now, for a long time growing up, I used, and you know, maybe I'm not alone, but I did not have a good relationship with my father. And once I did when I was younger, and then it was, I think it was part of the culture of the family or whatever. Once I reached puberty, he kind of backed off. And so it changed the whole energy of our relationship and how we communicated with each other. So with that happening, I I was treated differently. And there were just a lot of reasons, you know how it is. Every family's different and how that works. But I carried that with me. I carried that with me, trying to get his attention, trying to please for a long time. And I learned from that. Now I have learned that I don't badmouth that anymore. I don't say, oh, well, I had a toxic father or we had a dysfunction. Who cares? Who knows? And with that, with that, oh, I hope you have sound, Pam, because I think everybody else does. So check your device, Pam, okay? And I'm going to talk to you later after this Facebook Live. So with that, I learned to be stronger from it, that I did not have to rely on outside sources to say I'm enough, to say I'm seen and heard and loved and all those other things. I did not need, once I learned that it didn't matter what happened on the outside of me, it all happened from the inside out, that changed the whole perspective. And that's really a big one, and it was a big lesson for me. And I'm telling you, it was well into adulthood, well into adulthood that I learned this. And it's in sharing this with you and in talking about it, it's not to say, oh, look at what happened to her. That's not it. What I'm sharing is, if there are some conflicts or unresolved issues from your dad, learn to, and chat with me for a bit if you'd like, but learn to resolve them and know that you are enough. Before I did in my 50s and maybe 60s, I don't even remember now, that I finally realized I was enough. I didn't have to count on anybody else telling me that. And if you're not enough for another person, and it doesn't have to be family, it can be any kind of relationship, you can never be enough to be with the wrong person. Just know that you are enough for the right person and the right relationships. And with making peace with a relationship with your dad brings peace to you, because it's not about you. It's about the fact that that was their journey. This is yours to make peace with it, to find that love within you enough that this can go on and go on in a peaceful, loving way. So on that peaceful, loving note, I'm going to shuffle the cards and we're going to examine this relationship. Again, I'm doing this here, so if you happen to really want to talk about your own dad and that relationship, the reading is half price. It will be half price. So Father's Day did become a holiday after Mother's Day, when it was realized that mothers are honored, then why can't dads be honored? And that's absolutely true, because dads, again, play a big role. And again, it's the energy and the relationship. I'm not even talking about the gender. I'm talking about that role that happens. Okay, so I'm taking the summary card. All right, folks, time to put the glasses on. I'm taking the summary card, and excuse me if I'm looking in the other direction. I flipped my phone, and the camera now is over here, not on the other side where I normally have it. So, not to say that I'm confused or anything, but I always make it interesting and human. Yes. Okay. Summary card off to the side. Here we go. 1, 2. Wow. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is the summary card. And if I don't feel that we get any clarity with the cards that I put out here, hey Kelly, that I've put out here, then we will start again. So again, this is a general reading for Dad. But if this is something that you want for yourself personally and to help resolve any issues that you may have, hey Rose, with your dad or that relationship, it's half price. So that means it's $49, not $97. So let's go through this. This, again, general energy that's happening now. So first card, what is my relationship with my father? All right, this card I generally call the wounded warrior. And what does that mean? That means that there have been a lot of battles. There's been a lot of things that have gone on that have left some scars, that have left some hurts, that have left some pain, if you will. Whatever that happens to be, this is causing some of that difficulty. And look, as I talked about earlier, we all have stuff that's left over from growing up. And you know, when you're younger, you blame it all on your parents. You know, your parents get all the blame, and most of the time they're just doing the best they can. I know that's what it was for me at 20 years old, having a child. What did I know? I was doing the best that I could. And my son and I have talked about it. We've resolved a lot of the things. And now that he's a parent, and sweet Wendy is so patient with him, now that he's a parent, he's learning. You just do the best you can with what you know and at the time. And there's a lot of peace and forgiveness in that. So this card is saying my relationship with my father has brought a lot of wounds, a lot of scars, a lot of hurts, a lot of issues. And it doesn't mean that they're permanent. That's the whole point of this person being so strong and powerful. It means that he's not cowering, he's not sickly, he's not whatever. He's saying, okay, these things happened in life, but I have become who I am today because of them. Not overcome them. I have become even stronger and more wonderful because now I understand it. And if we go on the notion that we really have chosen these parents before we even come into this world, then we understand this is what I needed to understand and learn. And that takes all the responsibility off of beating yourself up that something's wrong with you, because there isn't anything wrong with you. There really isn't. Second card, what is the great gift my father has given me? Well, this is a major arcana card, and this is the Emperor. And this is to learn to be independent, to learn to be able to share, to learn to be my own person, to learn to be in charge, and be fully comfortable with it, and be fully knowing. And I can relate to this because my father was one of those that allowed me to say, okay, you said I can't do this, I'm going to do this. Either just because I'm a girl or just because of whatever. I turned around and did it anyway, and did it in my own way, and worked around and worked the situation that it always came out for my benefit, no matter what he said. That made me stronger. That made me realize I was in charge. He wasn't. And in the long run, that's exactly how it is now. No matter how old you are, you're in charge of you. He is not. Now, if you're in a caregiving relationship with your dad, that changes things around totally different, like Rose is. I mean, she's doing a whole different thing with caring for an aging dad. And that changes the roles. So it's a whole different way of relating. But that doesn't mean that the love has gone and the caring has gone, because that's not true. It's just that the roles change. 3, what is the great challenge my father has given me? Choice. I come to a crossroads and I make a choice. Now, in my case, it was to choose what I really wanted to do, even though the first word out of my father's mouth would be no. That would be okay. I would learn how to work around it. But this also is about the fact that maybe your father was not making the choices for you, but showing you the different sides of your options for you to make that choice and learn how to make choices. You know, if we're telling our children every minute what to do, how are they going to learn how to make choices in life if you're not there to do it? I remember one time with my mom, she always liked to have the decisions made for her, and then if they weren't right, she could complain about it. So one more time she was asking me, well, tell me what to do. How am I supposed to do this? And she was my age at this point, you know, and I'm the daughter, and I'm saying to her, Mom, I'm not going to make that decision for you, because then if it doesn't turn out well, it's all my fault. And she went, yes, it is, and started laughing. She didn't mean it mean, but we started laughing about it. But that's exactly what happens with children. If you're not learning if you're not teaching them how to make choices, and trust me, you know, even with teaching fifth grade, it was so interesting because I would allow the class to have choices, but the choices that I'm allowing them to make choices about, you know, not the one that's way out in left field that they can't have. That's not the choice. So I'd give that to them, and of course they'd try and negotiate for that third one that was not included or not part of it. But we always had a choice. I wanted them to feel important in the decision-making process of what was happening with them. And the same thing with children. This is about teaching choice. And I did learn that I had a choice indirectly, and it doesn't have to be a direct way of teaching choice, but indirectly I did. So is that something your dad helped you with? 4, how am I similar to my father? Okay, this is interesting because this is the Princess of Swords, and Swords is the air sign, so it's all about ideas and creativity and learning how to be better. This is like the inventor card, the person that just can come up with these ideas, you know, take all of the pieces, put them together, make something brand new, whether it's actually something concrete or whether it's an action that you need to take, weighing all your options, bringing all the pieces together, whatever that happens to be. I learned to make decisions on my own. And I also learned to go that next step further to make them even better than they could be. So yes, I had these 2 choices, but I expanded the choice to the point that it became even better for me than before. So it's using that creativity in your mind. And again, whether it's by default or it's a teaching situation, it doesn't really matter. It's what you learned. It's how I learned to make those decisions on my own and to expand upon them. Instead of problem-based, solution-oriented. So in that solution, how good can I make it? Can I make it even better than what was originally thought? So I learned that expansive thought of creativity from my dad. And again, by default or not, you learned it. It's something that happened, and that's what's really important. How am I unlike my father? Oh, this is interesting. Because I've learned to share with my community, my family, how that happens to work. It depends on the culture. Sometimes we're raised, I know in my family you didn't talk about personal things, you didn't share a whole lot of stuff. People were supposed to know what you were thinking, you know, and of course, how is that possible? We weren't all psychics, so it was like hard to do. And of course, if you didn't guess what it was, then you were angry or held a grudge forever. I mean, really ridiculous stuff. So what I learned was a healthier way of living. I saw the old custom and the old way of thinking and the old beliefs in the family, and I realized they do not serve a higher good. The higher good is that we are one community, that we are based in so many different ways of looking at people, looking at gender, looking at families, looking at so many different ways that if we come from a place of love and caring, that just creates a whole different way of doing it. And this is what I learned, whether my family taught it to me or not. I learned this, again, by default, or you are actually raised in that wonderful, loving energy that embraced differences, diversity, new ways of thinking, allowing you to be creative, whatever that happens to be. Okay, I don't know if you can hear the dogs, but I do. Okay, 6. How do I define myself in comparison to him? And this is interesting. This is the 8 of Pentacles. And the 8 of Pentacles is about hard work, caring for what you're doing, looking at what you're doing, being really, really focused on it, and loving the outcome of what you do, loving that end piece of whatever it happens to be. So how am I, this is 6, how do I define myself in comparison to him? I know my worth and value. I love my work. I love that outcome. Maybe your father was in a position that he didn't care about, but he knew that he wanted to support and care for his family. Whatever that circumstance it happens to be, this one is, I love what I do. I'm happy to work hard at it. It's, I follow the adage, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I am happy to spend the time doing that. So how do I define myself in comparison to him? Whether I learn this from him or not, depending upon your situation, that's what you love doing. Now, okay, so the last card is, not the summary card, but last card is, how can I better honor our relationship? How can I better honor our relationship? And this is the High Priestess. This is about being understanding and accepting, caring, intuitively understanding that your father came into this world to learn his own, follow his own path, maybe learn his own lessons, and you were a part of that. You were sharing that. It's entangled energy. You are sharing that energy with him in terms of this process. I understand that now. I understand that I was supposed to be here with him. And intuitively, I know that there were so many things that I had to bring to the table that I now have made peace with for both of us. I've made peace with myself because I understand who I am and how amazing I am. And I also understand that he is too in his own way. Maybe I didn't feel the love fully, but he loved me in his own way. Maybe I really did feel that love and I was able to share that within my family and feel it in my own way. This is a higher level of realizing this relationship, and it's so peaceful and loving when you do that. Now, the summary card. And this is interesting that this is the summary card. But the summary card is the Devil. And the Devil card is about addictive behavior, addictive thoughts. So this card is really saying whatever's left over, whatever uncomfortable, toxic thoughts are left over, old beliefs, whatever they are, it's time to get rid of them. It's time to make peace with them, time to let them go, time to just enjoy the thought of your father in your life, well, for whatever reason, making peace and loving that he had his own journey, he had his own reason to be here. And you were a part of that, but you also had your own reason to be here, to be a part of that. And that means that there's no fault in this. It is time to make peace. It's time to get rid of any thoughts from the past of how we felt that hurt us. It's time to get rid of those hurtful thoughts. Those thoughts that say, oh, I hated my dad or I didn't like his behavior or whatever, and just embrace it and just embrace yourself. Embrace yourself by saying, this is done. This is over. I love him no matter what. And I'm happy that he was in my life and I learned so much. For whatever that was. For whatever reason that was. Now, again, this is, and I have to share one card because I was talking as I was putting out the cards. I did one extra card. And there is a reason for this, and that is this Major Arcana card of Strength. That means you are strong enough to stand up for you, whether you're 25, 35, 55, 65. It doesn't matter. You are strong enough to stand up for you and accept that this is who you are, and that's who he was. And however that creation, however that relationship evolved, you made it to be who you are now, which is absolutely fantastic. Okay, that was a big one. And again, if this is one that you want for yourself, to really resolve any issues, to bring them up to the forefront, to deal with them and let them go, to make peace with that, this is half price. $49 because I did it here today, so you can have it as well. Okay, I have the Spirit Animal Oracle, and I am shuffling because I can't shuffle in the way that I normally shuffle, so I have to shuffle the same way that Colette Baron Reid shuffles, and I'm doing that now. So Pamela, and you'll love these animal cards, I know, Pamela. You may have this deck, I don't know. Okay, here we go. Oh, look at this. Okay, look, they're stuck together here. This is, look, isn't this a pretty card? This is called Bat Spirit. A rebirth is assured. And this reminds me a lot, Pamela, of the Hangman, in that it's now time for us to look at things from a different perspective. So this is a beautiful way of doing this, that it's time to look at things from a different perspective. And rebirth is assured. If we redefine or we renew or revise our way of thinking, it's brand new. It's not old anymore. It's brand new. So this is a beautiful card. I love that, Pamela. I think that's perfect. So renewal, rebirth is assured. Okay, so, and it also says to me that you're on the right path. So that's really good. Okay, Leslie. Oh, Leslie, you're going to love this. Okay, these are very thick cards, so they kind of stick. This is called Badger Spirit. Badger Spirit. And this is be fearless and bold. Okay, Leslie, be fearless and bold. Look at that card. And badgers are feisty characters. Be fearless and bold. I love it. I love it. I love it. What do you think, Leslie? That's enough. There's really no need to expand on that. Be fearless and bold is it. That's exactly what needs to be done. That means no more questioning or quibbling, not with somebody else, even with yourself. Okay, for those of you that know how much I love peacocks, that's why I dress like one most of the time. The Peacock Spirit, I love this card. This is mine. Peacock Spirit, let it shine. Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah, I think I truly embrace that one. Yes, and in a spunky way, just like Leslie said. Spunky for sure. Okay, here we go. And Wendy. Okay, Wendy, here it is. Oh. Okay. This is Wombat Spirit. Look, Wombat has a crown. Okay, Wendy, Wombat has a crown. So this is Wombat Spirit. And this is be at home. And that's not necessarily physical home. That's be at home with you. with as life changes and things go on, be at home and enjoy. So this little wombat is wearing a crown, which I absolutely adore. So that shows you that you are queen of your home. No matter what, you are the one. And I feel this loving, wonderful spirit. And I know that a lot of that has to do with the fact that the moon is in Cancer right now. But just that wonderful, embracing, loving spirit is so beautiful. I love it. Okay, and one last one because it's staring me right in the face, and this will be for to close with, and that is the wolf spirit. And we went to the Wolf Connection with a group of us did about 4 years ago, and 5 years ago now. And we camped outside with the wolves. Now they were still in their place that they lived. We were outside of that, camping outside. And this is about turn knowledge into wisdom. I just had to close with that one because that is so beautiful. Turn knowledge into wisdom. Isn't that wonderful? Wow. These cards are really beautiful. So thank you, Kat, for allowing me to revisit all of my cards. Now, online tarot gallery reading is this Thursday coming up at 7 o'clock. I do have 2 openings. So please let me know about that. Pam, I'm going to talk to you. Pam Nobles, I'm going to talk to you about that when we finish. And the tarot flow was supposed to be this past Saturday. And because my plans to go to South Florida were uncertain, we kind of postponed it until next Saturday. So the next Saturday, June 19th at 10 o'clock in the morning will be Tarot Flow. So you still have the opportunity to sign up for that. It was a powerful reading, Leslie, and it really was about honoring your role, whatever that may be, as a father energy, whatever that happens to be, honoring that. So that was really beautiful. So I think that's covers pretty much what we're doing. The reading for this month, the special, is called Your Reading, and that is you give me the questions. And the reading is based solely on your questions. 10 maximum, and therein lies the answers that you choose. And again, if you would like your own Father's Day reading, it's half price as well. So enjoy your day today. Again, I apologize I keep switching where I'm looking because I'm so used to the camera being on the other side, but oh well, it's all good. Have a great, great Sunday. Remember, at 2:22, the moon moves into Leo, changing all that energy, meeting up with Mars in Leo, and lots going on, lots happening. So have a wonderful day, and remember, joy has your name on it. Joy has your name on it. Thank you, Leslie, for that. Yes, yes, absolutely. Online tarot gallery reading is fantastic. And remember, joy has your name on it. Have a great Sunday.